This is the 2024 update of the lovely Sheila, who has been using the suite of products from the I Am Melanin Magic brand since our debut almost 3 years ago. Her hair looks marvelous. Are you tired of struggling with hair growth and thinning strands? Release the magic in your locks and tresses with I Am Melanin Magic hair oils. A premium blend of all natural ingredients strengthens, restores, and revitalizes your hair for maximum health and growth. Don't let thinning hair
straightened hair
brand. Upgrade your hair care game today. I Am Melanin Magic hair oil. Welcome to Tunisia's Locs Beauty Tips and Potpourri, also known as the I Am Melanin Magic brand. I truly hope that you are feeling well today, that you are peaceful, productive, that you're prospering, that you are on purpose, living passionately from a positive point of attraction. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome. If you are returning, welcome home. Today we're talking about a very important topic, and that topic is concerning 5 very infrequently thought of things that can contribute to hair loss. Hair loss as in thinning locks, locks that just don't feel good, breakage, and so forth and so on. These are the kinds of things that we do on a regular basis, or the kinds of things that we don't think about on a regular basis, but the cumulative effect of these things can actually be catastrophic over a period of time. Let's go ahead and dig in. Okay, let's talk about something very common, and I'm guilty of this myself. And that is, number one is neglecting your locks, okay? This is something that we take for granted, especially as we continue in our journey and we have what are, for the most part, healthy locks that have survived all of the different things that we may have done to them. Or it can happen because you come into your lock journey without really thinking about what is required to keep a healthy head of locks. And while we may not have some of the same issues that we might have had to be privy of when we were dealing with loose hair or relaxed hair, having locks still means that you have life on your head that has to be maintained. And it's like a plant. And I was thinking about my plants today, because as I moved about my house, watering them and actually moving them around, case in point, I looked at my plants and I said, well, what's been going on with your plants? Your plants, some of them in certain places have been neglected. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to repot a few. I had to give them water. They were thirsty. And I thought to myself, what is going on that these plants are kind of away from high frequency, high traffic areas of my home. And so I don't always see them that often, or I'm not paying attention to them, and they're not getting the care that they actually need. So I said, I'm not talking to you guys. I need to put you around community. I need to make sure that you have other plants that you can talk to and all of these things, because plants are alive. And research shows that they're impacted by a feeling of community around other plants, and they're also impacted by us talking to them. So our hair is the same way. You have to handle your hair. You got to talk to it. You got to make sure that you're taking care of it. You got to look at it. You got to observe it. You got to see what's going on with it. You got to intuit what it may need. You've got to intuit maybe what it is that it may not need in your care regimen. So not neglecting your hair and remembering that it's life. And it has life force energy, so it has to be maintained. It has to be loved on. It has to be cared for. And just because you've had your locks for a long period of time doesn't mean that you don't need to change your regimen. Just because you've had your locks for a long period of time doesn't mean that they may not be able to benefit from you adding something new to your hair care regimen, or from you ceasing doing other things. For example, I've decided, and we're going to see how long this lasts, as my color moves out and continues to dull, regretfully, I am deciding to cease with the coloring I'm going to try for a year, and we're going to see what happens. I've been coloring my hair for so many years, and my hair is healthy because I use the I Am Melanin Magic brand of products on my hair. But the tips have always religiously and ritualistically suffered from the hair color. And so I'm going to get ready to take that out of my hair color routine, and I'm going to look at some other options that may give me the spark that I'm looking for. And as I begin to try and implement some of those things, I'll make sure I tell you on the channel. But you want to make sure that you're not neglecting your hair and that you're not getting lazy. Because if you get lazy, the interesting thing with locks, regardless of what type of locks that you have, you're not going to see the impact of it until you're farther down the road. And so while it may seem that the neglect is not really having a catastrophic impact on your hair, rest assured that your hair is suffering, and eventually, if you're not true to it, it will be false to you. The next thing that I want to talk about is what we do oftentimes without even thinking twice, and that is we manipulate our hair when it's dry. Manipulating your hair in general is bad when you have locks, whether they are Sisterlocks, Microlocks, or any other kind of lock. But manipulating your hair when it's dry is even worse. I'm famous for this, and each time I do it thoughtlessly, I have to back up and remember to put moisture in my hair, regardless of what I'm doing. Today, I was fumbling around with these, I don't think they're called Bantu knots, but they're curly knots. And I'm going to put these in my hair all over and wear this style for a few days so that I can get some really tight, bouncy curls without using any instruments. And I went to grab my hair and start, the curls, and I thought, oh my gosh, wait a second, I need to moisturize my hair. And so I reached first for my Ronnie's Refresh Mix, which is a proprietary blend of various types of floral water, essential oils, and special ingredients like honeyquat, which help to coat the hair to make it soft and to moisturize your hair. But then I went in with the oil that I've been trying on my hair probably for the last 6 to 8 months, and that is the cucumber kiwi. And this is a very powerful blend because it's the lightest oil that we have, but it's got amla, it's got cucumber, it's got kiwi, it's got pomegranate, it's got vitamin E and burdock. And so it's a powerful blend. And so I said to myself, you know what? I grabbed my hair and I could feel oh, y'all, there's a female pit bull out there in the yard. Oh, Albie, there's company. Look at that doggy. Hold on, y'all. Y'all, that was not a good decision. All I wanted her to do was look out the sunroom window to see this pit bull pregnant female dog in her yard, on her territory. She came over to the window. She looked at the other window. She didn't see it. Then she went to the door here, which is left of me, right of me, okay? Because I was dealing with all the plants and stuff this morning, I left the door a tad bit ajar. She took off. He took off. All is well that ends well. Thank you, God. Thank you, Divine. I'm grateful. She took off way down the street and all the way around. I had to get her. I'm grateful. Back at the ranch. Have I not learned my lesson with this dog yet? But the door was supposed to be locked. Okay, so I go in with that cucumber kiwi delight. And when I feel my hair, compared to the way it was when I first started to go in and decide how I was going to deal with the different lengths of the locks in my hair and begin to practice some of those curls, some of those knots, my hair was feeling I was feeling more friction. My hair was feeling more dry and it was less soft. Just a simple spritz. And you can make this at home. You don't have to buy this from the website if you choose not to, but this is a special blend. You can make this from home. The key is to get you one of these bottles from Amazon, because the mist that's going to spray out is going to evenly distribute the moisture. It's going to make sure that you don't oversaturate your hair. And in the summertime and in times, even in the winter, when you're up against the elements, it's going to be very, very beneficial. Woo! Moving right along to the next point. This is something that I've heard quite a bit about, and this was something that a loctician I went to in Macon about a year and a half ago, I think, quite a bit before I began doing my own hair each month or every 2 to 3 months. I was going for retightening to keep me from having to go all the way into Atlanta to my favorite locticians, Naka and Ifraj. She wanted to trim my locks. In fact, she wanted to trim the frizzes. Now, of course, I had to stop her. She had the scissors to my head, and while she did some other things with scissors that I called into question later, she wanted to trim the frizzes around my locks because she needed them to look a certain way. I know my hair. My hair has always been frizzy. My locks are super frizzy. In fact, that is a part of what keeps my locks very, very healthy, because those frizzes, my hair has its own natural intelligence at the cellular level. We already know that cells communicate with each other. My frizzes, my hair cells, my hair knows what it needs to do in order to be healthy. It knows what it needs to do in order to support my unique hair care journey. And at this level of the game, I need my frizzes, because it's my frizzes that wrap around currently the knots and make them look smooth like the rest of my hair. But those frizzes are critical to the development of a strong, healthy lock that has hair integrity. You cannot get that from any place else. The hair has to tangle. The hair has to move around and pull in other hairs so that it can do what it do. So don't trim your tangles. Even if you're tempted, the neat, perfect look is not going to be for you anyway, or for most people anyway. If you're coming on this journey for a neat look and you're grooming your locks on a regular basis because you're not satisfied with what your particular locked look is going to look like, then you're making a decision that you are sure to regret. I'm still trying to get over Albie, y'all, and her running out there and me thinking like right across the street like she did last summer or the summer before last when she chased that cat and she snapped the chain, crossed this little street that I live on. You know, I'm all the way out here in the boonies, but I live in the historic district. And so it's a pretty busy road. It's like a little Mayberry town. And I have the main road that I'm living on. And it was terrifying, and I was like, oh God, I'm praying. Oh God, please, I won't do it again, please. So as far as trying to tame that frizz baby, that frizz is a part of your lock integrity. That frizz indirectly is a part of your hair beauty. Just let it be. Let it be. Don't worry about it. Many of us have naturally frizzy hair. I'm one of those. It doesn't matter how far I'm in my lock journey and what part of the lock journey I'm in. Any given day, I can look down at my hair in the mirror or outside and frizzes are everywhere. I love my frizz. Don't tame your frizz. Love the frizz. Okay, love the frizz. Now let's talk about wearing the same style over and over and over, especially for those of you who like the updos. And I like a good updo too, even though I'll usually only do it once I curl my locks. You may like messy buns and so forth and so on. I like that too. But anything that you are doing regularly to your locks over and over and over again causes them to compress or lay in a habitual direction or in a direction that can sort of cause, in a way, a hair erosion or the thinning of your locks. It's no different than those people who may pull their hair back, especially tight like this on a regular basis. Now, you'll see me pull my hair up like this on a regular basis, but look how loose it is. My hair is not getting any stress at all. But what if you are corn rolling your hair and you're pulling on it and you're corn rolling your locks on a regular basis or on a style that you do even once every month? It's going to take a toll. What if you're someone that wears a center part all the time, constantly, regularly? It may be something you want to shift every now and then and wear a part that's a little more biased to another side periodically, so that your hair is not constantly being trained to go in the same direction, because eventually your hair can begin to grow in a biased way in that direction, in very incremental, almost micro growth, in a way that you can hardly ever notice it. And you'll look up one day and you'll realize that other hairs no longer are growing in around that same area, because the hair has been trained to move a certain way. And whenever you force the hair to go a certain way, that is unnatural. It is definitely unnatural. But whenever you do that and it's unnatural, it's going to result in some type of micro stress to the hair. And that particular stress can cost you your strands. It can cost you your follicles. It can cost you your hair abundance. The last thing that you want to consider is either shampooing too often or not shampooing enough. Now, this is a very controversial subject for a lot of people. And what I say is, I know what works for me. I know why it works, and I can support why it works in terms of an argument. But there are very real arguments that make sense on the other side of that. All right. I don't wash very often. Once I was able to get a handle on my itchy, dry scalp and flakes and all of that, and once I started using essential oil products on my hair, and once I began to weekly test my scalp for debris and buildup, and I was satisfied, I knew and was able to establish how long my hair was able to go. All right. There are a lot of things that the body does naturally to cleanse itself, and there are a lot of things that you can do to support that process. However, if you are someone that knows that no matter what you do, you have a lot of sebum, you just know that you need to wash your hair on a regular basis and on a more frequent basis, then do that. Find out what works for your hair. Some people do every 3-4 weeks. I push mine farther than that. Some people feel like they need to wash their hair every week. What I would say to you, and what my caveat would be, is guard against washing too frequently, depending upon the quality of the water that you have coming out of the spigot, or the quality of the water that you use on your hair. For example, alkaline water is good for the hair. If you were washing your hair also in Niagara Falls, or if you were washing your hair with water that ran down from the mountains, your hair is likely to be able to tolerate a lot more. But if you're washing your hair with hard water, let's say you live in a part of the country where the water is hard. I know when I left New Jersey and came down to the Atlanta area, the water took a toll on my hair. And that's why when I began my Sisterlocks journey, that is why I began to run into real serious issues with my scalp. And it was a lot more noticeable than it was previous to that period, because the water was hard. So it's very important to be mindful of that. Water on your hair can be good, and it is necessary up to a point in terms of hydration, in terms of the water that you have to use to shampoo. But be mindful that because shampooing does involve water, and water's quality is critical to the health of your hair, shifting or being open to look at what might need to change about your shampooing frequency is something worth looking at, because not only are you talking about the water, you're also talking about the shampoo. What kind of products are you actually using on your hair, right? So when we talk about shampooing, it's really that important because also when we're shampooing, we're manipulating the hair. And depending upon how we're washing it and how we're massaging the scalp, that's going to impact our hair health. Depending upon how we are wringing our hair out. If you're doing this is going to be harmful to your hair health. Okay, rather than letting the water drain down and then just gently pressing like this. If you're someone that's roughly manipulating your hair, you want to beware. If you're someone that has long locks and you're not braiding and banding, you might want to braid and band to take some of the stress off your hair. My hair is very long, even though it's a lot shorter than the length that it actually should be, partly because the knots shrink it almost 50%, almost it doubles the shrinkage in one particular area, so it is shrunk up, but also because it's shorter because of the ends that I have lost, the various things that I've done to my hair over time, but my hair is still long and I have a lot of locks. So the minute the water hits my head, there is very perceivable weight. It triples and quadruples in weight. Right now, my hair feels weightless. All right. I don't use heavy oils on my hair. My hair feels weightless. I remember when my hair used to feel very heavy when it wasn't even wet, but I had to change my routine. But right back at the ranch, so when I'm washing my hair, if I'm not taking certain precautions when I'm in the shower, like allowing my hair on one side to rest up here or putting it up here in a bun in one area while I'm washing the other areas, and then taking certain precautions when I'm done with washing, it's actually something that can stress my hair, especially around the edges, around the back, and even in other areas, depending upon what's going on with my hair at that particular time. So be willing to just be open to learn, be willing to change the direction that you might be going in with your hair, be willing to experiment. Your locks are beautiful. They're like the outfit that you wear every day, or they're like the makeup that you put on. Be willing to be creative. Be willing to express yourself in a different way every now and then, which means you got to try something different. Be willing to think flexibly and don't be rigid, because everybody's hair is different. Everybody's hair responds to something different, and you got to find out what your hair responds to. But please take note of these very common things that you are likely doing on a regular basis and not even realizing that they are pulling your hair out, stressing your hair out, contributing to thinning, contributing to breaking. And depending upon all the other things that you may be doing with your hair, you might not be able to afford that. Lots of love to you. You can find me on the IamMelaninMagic.com website. You can also find me for healing services on HidayahReiki.com, and also Spiritually Initiated and Crown.com, which also links to my spiritual channel, Spiritually Initiated and Crown. I, again, am glad to have you here. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to share this video. Love you. And I will see you soon. Bye. Welcome to Tunisia's Locs, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by. Our magical hair growth serum did this after just 8 short weeks, 5 times per week. Denisha began with the premium oil blend in April, and by June, she had already regrown hair. Angelica addressed thinning with the magical hair growth serum and continues to use the products to improve thinning in areas where it's been hard to regrow hair. Meet Kina. Her hair loss was spread over several areas. She went ham with the magical hair growth serum, and to the shock of her loctician, her hair began to rebound fast. She is delighted, and so am I. I am Melanin Magic, and so are you.